Okay, can we read the story now? Oh, we're gonna be reading scary stories today. I know it's Christmas, and deal with it. Or be a crybaby.
The first story is called Persuaded.
Baboons! Okay, sorry. Okay, let's read this. Okay, the first story is Persuaded.
It's been 2 weeks since this whole thing started. It all started with a tanker accident. It was all over the news. Everyone thought it was just another oil spill. There were plenty of volunteers, plenty of people wanting to help the poor, defenseless animals, plenty of victims. Within hours of the tanker accident, it started happening. The animals had gone crazy. They were scratching and biting the cleanup volunteers. They said that it was an adverse effect to whatever was in that tanker. Rescue workers were still trying to get the crew out of the ship. They could hear screaming inside. There were screams to open the doors, but that's when it all went to hell. As soon as they cut the door down, there were 6 minutes of broadcast before it went silent. 6 minutes of screaming and agony. The ship crew attacked the rescue workers like rabid baboons. They were breaking bones and tearing flesh. The people on the shore weren't faring any better. Those that had been attacked by animals were attacking everyone else. It was worse than any war zone report. It was sheer brutality, and yet the broadcast still went on for 6 minutes. There were 6 minutes,
that thing right in the balls. It is non-existent balls.
There were 6 minutes, and then blank faces. Nobody could explain what was happening. They tried to continue with the regular news, the economy, the weather, and a cute human interest story. But they couldn't make us unsee what we saw. I tried to continue with my regular existence, but every time I switched on the news or walked by a newsstand, it was there, this big mystery. They had some explanations. It was an infection, or maybe brain parasites, but it didn't matter. It wasn't the infection we were afraid of. It was them. 4 days after the initial report, a state of emergency was raised, and yet we've all seen this before. It's in every zombie movie ever. People didn't know who to trust. People were stockpiling food and weapons. Some tried to flee, but it seems every zombie movie was right. They didn't make it. 3 days later, they arrived in my town. Uwu. I expected moans, shuffling corpses, and dismemberment.
Whoa, that's what she said.
But that's where the movies lied. They ran through the streets screaming. I remember running to my front door as fast as I could, locking, barricading, and doing anything to make sure it would stay shut. And then I headed for the window. I was on the second story, and I could see the carnage. They were unstoppable. They were aware. A group of them made their way through a building across the street. They jumped straight through plate glass windows. Even the shards slicing through them made no difference. They just kept coming. My barricade wasn't going to hold. I rushed around my flat, grabbing supplies and jamming them into the most secure room of the flat. I went back for one last look across the street, and I wish I hadn't. In a second-story window, my face met one of theirs. They knew where I was. I quickly dashed into the room and locked the door. I don't have any kind of panic room or a secure basement, so the safest place I could think of was my bathroom. There were no windows and only one door. It had a lock. I had filled my stinking bathtub full of water, so I could stay for a while. I sat there in the dark room with the distant screams in my ears. I began to feel like I may have overreacted. It had been 2 hours with no sign of them. It actually got quieter, and I thought they had moved on. Maybe I could leave the room and get to the kitchen. I could grab some more food to wait it out. A crash came from the front door. There was the sound of someone running full force into the door and knocking down the barrier behind it. There were a couple more crashes before I knew they were inside. There were rapid footsteps moving around the flat, a couple of screams, and then a bang on the wall beside me. My eyes were open to their widest. Even in the pitch-black darkness of the room, there was another bang and then another. They knew I was there, and they knew I was scared. This was the zombie nightmare I had been expecting from the start. I had nowhere to run. There was only so much time before they would break in. I sat with my back to the door, hoping my extra weight would make it harder for them to get in. Then it got worse. Why don't you open the door? There was a voice on the opposite side of the door. There were no screams or moans, just a quiet, whispery voice, and then more of them. We've come for you. You'll be happier if you open the door. It's not so bad. The whispery voices became a cacophony of noises trying to persuade me, to break me, to fool me. I had heard that the moaning of zombies would drive people insane, but this was worse, a siren call. I sat in the darkness and hoped and prayed that they'd get bored, but they don't get bored and they don't leave. I managed to use the mirror to peek under the door, only to be greeted by horrible unblinking eyes, blood-smeared faces, screams, and more horrible whispers. That was 2 days ago. I don't know what to do anymore. Maybe it won't be so bad.
So, he's still in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna start it there.
Unless he got persuaded to go out.
I don't know. Okay, let's read another story.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll read this next one.
What do you want to do?
Let's do the backrooms. I haven't read it in a while. I haven't read it at all. Have you?
No.
It looks good.
God damn.
God damn, you got me cutting my... I'm really energetic. That pixie stick from like 2 nights ago is hitting in now. Okay.
There's going to be an ad popping up soon, so I suggest you just wait for that. See?
Yep. The backrooms. It was approximately 12:15 when it... Ooh. It was approximately 12:15 when I entered the Johnson County Community Health Clinic. I was there for an appointment I'd set up weeks ago. Just a routine checkup. It wasn't a new place for me. I'd been there a couple of times before. However, the place had an odd nostalgic feel to it, as if it were a location from my childhood or something. I could never pinpoint exactly what the feeling was, or where it came from. As they walked in, an overwhelming feeling of deja vu swept over me. The hum of flickering fluorescent lights, the white flooring, the muted beige painting that covered the walls. I noticed there was a TV mounted in the corner, a smaller flat screen, that was playing a short PowerPoint slideshow and a loop of ads in events that were being held by the clinic. Past the empty waiting area, a small area of the main room with magazines, children's playthings, and cushioned chairs. I approached the woman at the front desk. I approached the woman at the front desk. She was sitting in a bluish-gray office chair, looking at the spreadsheet of the same Windows XP desktop they've had since 2008. There's a sign-in sheet on the counter in front of me. I have an appointment with Dr. Pebbins, I asked. What time? 12:30, I replied. She began typing something into her computer. Ah, yes, she responded. Gary Johnson. Yes, I'll tell the doctor. Please fill this out. She handed me the clipboard with a simple fill-out form. I walked back to the waiting area, took a seat, and began to fill out the form. When I was halfway done filling my information, when I slumped back in my chair, I hadn't gotten much sleep the night prior, and I was exhausted. As I slumped back, I noticed something very peculiar. My head never hit the wall. In fact, it felt like I got up quite frightened and looked at the wall. Nothing, not a single hole in it had been made by the wall in my head. So I touched the wall, and my fingers went right through it. I recoiled in shock. What the hell was that? I thought, as I reached to touch the wall again, only to find my fingers clipped through once more. Then suddenly, I lost my balance, tripped and fell directly through the wall. I fell face first onto some dirty tan carpeting. Upon getting back up, I realized that I was now in a completely different room. Well, not really a room, per se, more so a set of rooms, all of which connected by openings. The walls were covered in gross tattered wallpaper. There was also an overwhelming stench of moist carpet. Turned back around and tried to put my hand back through the wall, and it wouldn't go through. Okay, what the frick? I muttered. I looked back into the room. There were no windows, no doors, nothing on the walls, other than that disgusting wallpaper, of course. It was completely empty, aside from a singular plastic blue school chair. At this point, the only thing going through my mind was fear, and the repeating of "I need to leave" on the loop of my head. I started running through the rooms, desperately trying to find an exit, but there was no exit. Was this my permanent location until I died? No, there had to be a way out of it. I wasn't going to be left here, right? Eventually someone would notice that I was gone, but nobody did. Then, in the distance, I heard footsteps, but not those of a human, at least not a normal human. On inside the footsteps was a gurgling sound, like that of an angry animal. I began to run. I ran as fast as I could from whatever the hell was approaching me. I didn't want anything to do with it. I ran for what seemed like forever, but I could tell that I was always back in the same room I started in. At least it looked like the same room, not that I could tell them apart. So I sat down defeated, a feeling of dread filled my body. As I started to cry, I was going to die here. I'm still here. I haven't left. I've accepted my fate. In fact, I can actually hear footsteps. I wonder who that is. Oh, Leah, do you want to read the next one?
I just realized. If they're still in the back rooms, and that's technically where you go when you dream, hard enough, how are they writing this? Like, I know it's a made-up story, obviously, but...
I don't know. It's a story, Leah. Okay. What story do you want to read? Or we can end the
Zolgo.
video. It's already been 10 minutes.
That's true. How about Zolgo, and then we can end the video?
Okay, so...
And then you can snack on the Starbursts while I read.
The what?
The Starburst that I threw at you.
Oh, this is for me.
Yeah.
This is for you.
No, that's fine. You can have them.
Wikia?
Yes.
Wikia? Yeah, take it. Okay, this is gonna be a last one. Read it fast, because you can only make like 15-minute videos on YouTube. Oh, are these wrapped or unwrapped?
Unwrapped. They're short. Okay, this one.
Yep. And my dad. Woogie, woogie, woogie.
Where is it?
What? Go up.
No, it's not that. It's not that. It's not this one. No, it's too long. This one?
We could always read a different story and then do that for another video.
Yeah, because this one doesn't seem to be working. Yeah, okay.
Okay, what do you want to read?
See if Liz
Hey, there's really no point. We only have like 4 minutes left.
Yeah. Let's end the video.
Yeah. Peace. I hope you like it. Tell us if you want to put if you would like us to post more videos like this.
And if you have any requested stories, don't be
make sure
afraid to
to
comment
like
them.
and subscribe, and put notifications on so you always get notified when we make a new video. And peace.